All right, let's jump right into it. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating and honestly, absolutely crucial medical mystery. You see, our bodies are incredibly communicative, but they don't always speak to us in loud, obvious shouts. Most of the time, they leave us these little hidden clues. Just tiny whispers and subtle changes that are trying to tell us something under the hood isn't working quite right. So today, we are going to decode the silent warnings and early signs of a condition that affects literal millions.
So let me just ask you point blank. Have you been feeling unusually tired lately? And I don't just mean the normal kind of tired you feel after a long, stressful day at work. I mean a persistent, dragging fatigue that just hangs around no matter what you do. It's a subtle shift, you know? The exact kind of thing that's incredibly easy to brush off and just blame on a busy schedule.
Or, hey, what about this? Do you find yourself feeling thirsty all the time? Like you're constantly reaching for a water bottle? Or maybe you're waking up in the middle of the night, not just once, but multiple times just to use the bathroom? Now, on their own, these might seem like really minor, everyday annoyances. You might just think, oh, I drank too much water before bed. But what if I told you these tiny annoyances are actually urgent warning signs?
Because here's the wild reality we're dealing with. Millions, literally millions of people out there currently have diabetes or prediabetes, and they have absolutely no clue. Zero. And the reason for this massive blind spot is that the symptoms often develop so incredibly slowly. They just creep up on you over months, sometimes years. Because of that, people just ignore the warning signs entirely until serious, undeniable health complications start showing up.
Okay, to crack this case, we first need to meet the main suspect in our biological mystery, glucose. Before we can decode the warnings, we gotta understand the baseline mechanics of the body. Basically, glucose is the primary sugar found in your blood, and it's absolutely vital. Think of it as the ultimate fuel your body uses for energy. Everything you do, from going for a walk to solving a math problem, requires this fuel. But, as we're about to see, when your body loses the ability to process this fuel correctly, the whole system starts sending out some serious distress signals.
Let's look at clue number 1. Constant thirst. Are you constantly reaching for water, chugging glass after glass, but somehow still feeling completely parched?
So why exactly is this happening? Well, when your blood sugar levels spike dangerously high, your body basically goes into emergency self-defense mode. It desperately attempts to remove all that excess unwanted sugar from your system, and its main strategy is to flush it out through your urine. But here's the catch. To flush out the sugar, your body pulls fluids directly from your tissues. The result? You lose more fluids, you become dehydrated, and your brain is screaming at you to drink more water. It's literally trying to dilute a sugar overload.
And you know, that fluid loss triggers a massive domino effect, leading us right to clue number 2, frequent urination. Are you waking up multiple times a night just to hit the bathroom?
This is where we see some serious mechanical strain happening inside you. Your kidneys are your body's built-in filtration system. When there's way too much glucose in the blood, those poor kidneys are forced into serious overtime. They're working incredibly hard to filter and dump that excess glucose. And when they just can't keep up, the leftover sugar spills into your urine, dragging tons of fluid right along with it. This intense, non-stop workload on the kidneys is a massive early red flag.
Naturally, all this internal chaos leads straight to our third sign, constant fatigue. Again, this isn't normal tiredness. This is feeling completely drained even after supposedly getting 8 full hours of sleep. You just wake up feeling totally weak.
It's actually kind of a crazy biological irony. Remember how we said glucose is your body's fuel? Well, you have plenty of fuel. In fact, you have too much of it floating around in your bloodstream. But because your body isn't processing it right, it can't unlock the doors to your cells. So the fuel just sits there in the blood, and your cells are essentially starving. They literally don't get the energy they need to function, leaving you feeling profoundly, deeply exhausted.
But this systemic breakdown doesn't stop at your energy levels. Clue number 4 actually catches a lot of folks completely off guard: blurred vision. Have you noticed any sudden weird changes in your eyesight? Like maybe things look a little fuzzy, or you're squinting at texts that used to be perfectly clear.
The physical toll high blood sugar takes is completely systemic, and your eyes are super vulnerable to it. Your eyes are packed with this network of incredibly tiny, delicate blood vessels. When blood sugar stays high, it can actually damage these fragile little vessels. Fluid gets pulled into the lens of your eye, changing its shape and making it super hard to focus. Some folks experience this blurry vision way before they ever get a formal diagnosis. Seriously, any sudden change in your vision is a huge red flag.
Moving right along, you might also bump into clue number 5, increased hunger. And I mean feeling absolutely ravenous just a short while after you've eaten a massive meal.
Let's tie this back to that starving cells concept we talked about a second ago. Because your body is struggling to actually use the glucose, your cells are sitting there empty. So what do? They completely panic. They start firing off these continuous emergency SOS signals to your brain, demanding more energy, demanding more food. Your brain interprets this as actual starvation, completely tricking you into feeling this frequent, intense hunger, even when your stomach is completely full.
Then we have the clues that are basically hiding in plain sight. Sign number 6 is slow healing cuts and wounds. Ever noticed a tiny paper cut or a random scratch that just seems to hang around forever?
Well, it turns out a super glucose-heavy environment completely messes with your body's internal repair crew. High blood sugar actually stiffens up your arteries and narrows your blood vessels, which totally restricts your overall blood flow and circulation. Without that proper blood flow, the essential nutrients and oxygen your body needs to heal just can't get to the site of the wound fast enough. So your natural healing process slows to an absolute crawl.
Finally, we arrive at our 7th, and honestly, probably the most critical warning sign of the bunch. Tingling or numbness in the hands and feet. You know that weird, painful pins and needles feeling when your foot falls asleep?
Listen, I absolutely cannot stress this enough. This frequent tingling is a sign of long-term exposure, and there is no way you should ever ignore it. Over time, unmanaged, chronically high blood sugar starts going directly after your nerves. It essentially damages the protective coating on them, starting with the longest nerves in your body, which is exactly why you usually feel it in your toes, feet, and hands before anywhere else.
So when we zoom out and put all the pieces of this medical mystery together, it really puts the whole picture into perspective, right? 7 seemingly random clues, constant thirst, blurry vision, tingly toes, and they all trace back to one single biological culprit: excess glucose in the blood. Whether it's fluid loss making you thirsty, overworked kidneys making you run to the bathroom, or damaged vessels slowing down your healing, it's all part of the exact same chain reaction. And just understanding that, it gives you so much power over your own health.
Okay, section 2, taking control. Habits that increase risk versus healthy prevention. Let's pivot away from the problem for a second and focus on the solution.
Because it really boils down to this stark contrast between the habits that fuel the fire and the ones that actually protect you. Regularly chugging sugary drinks, eating highly processed foods, sitting around all day, and getting terrible sleep. All of that forces your body to constantly fight off these massive, exhausting sugar spikes. On the flip side, simple habits like taking a daily walk, throwing some more veggies on your plate, getting quality sleep, and just managing your stress, those have incredibly powerful long-term benefits for your metabolic health. It's a real game changer.
So what's our action plan here? First off, be completely honest with yourself. Recognize those early warning signs if they are popping up in your daily life. Second, don't just wait around, go speak with a healthcare professional. And third, just get your blood sugar checked. It is such a fast, easy test. Look, this condition often develops super quietly in the background, but taking early action is literally the absolute key to preventing the serious complications down the road.
I want to leave you with this really powerful thought from our sources today. Take care of your body today. Your future self will thank you. Because at the end of the day, your body is always talking to you, constantly sending you these little status updates from under the hood. So, here's the big question. If your body was whispering to you today, what is it trying to say?